as you know, surveying, especially elevation checks and all of that, is based solely on horizontals being parallel.
There we go.
Right? Well, that isn't a curve. Right? That isn't what they do. They measure a drop in the vertical, don't they? When you're doing surveying on your measuring rods.
Hang on here. Let me think about this.
Yeah, you do.
If it's a change in the vertical, then what do you call that when you're measuring, when you're doing your surveying?
Hang on here. Let me think about this a minute.
Change in elevation.
Right. Okay.
Oh yeah. There we go.
Hang on here. Let me think about this a minute.
Oh yeah. So drop any. It would be a drop any direction you go. Earth is always dropping away from you.
So the water. You think the water level drops away from you?
There we go. Yeah, I know it. I've not seen a drawing from LIGO.
The nutsack thing is related to
either arm, an X or a Y.
Let's say 400 meters. How accurate could you be at setting a horizontal?
It is designed to be 33.1 arc seconds from top to bottom at that distance.
Wait a minute. The elevation from the water level is always going to be the same.
They'll all intersect. Those three lines will intersect in the middle.
There we go.
Oh shit, Grumpus went to bed a long time ago.
A nutsack drop is a pretty good demonstration of the globe.
There we go.
Just hang on here, let me think about this.
Go on.
Water level.
Oh, yeah. The water level is the most level.
The water level will show you level. You'll take your auto level then to the center of this array of of level points that you've established. Set it at the center and then shoot both ends. You'll find out that they're dropping.
What, both ends of the water level lower?
There we go. Yeah.
In the middle.
We got a home.
You've got a home.
Absolutely.
It's a home.
Hang on here, let me think about this.
You got a home base.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. God, I'm getting tired, Beth. Back up. That was wrong. That was something else I was thinking about.
33.1 arc seconds.
1 arc second, which at 400 meters would be in a vertical height of 12.6 millimeters. Buster. Hang on here, let me think about this.
What do you call a change in vertical in surveying?
Hang on here, let me think about this.
Like if there's a vertical distance change, what's that called?
Hang on here, let me think about this.
It's elevation, and it's measured
so
from
you've
sea
just
level.
said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you've just said that the
And all
water
of them?
level changes in elevation
There we go.
from the point you're
the water
at.
level does. Yes, the water level will. Absolutely. Oh yeah.
So it's
wait,
not
wait.
establishing a level.
Wait a
Wait a
Hold
minute.
on
I think you might have got. Whoa. Yeah.
Hold on.
Go on.
There we go. Hold on.
Take a mulligan on that one. Let's try again.
Don't overtalk.
Hang on here,
Don't
let me think
overtalk.
about
Don't
this.
parallel.
Good.
Yeah, at 400 meters, the Earth curve is about 12.6 millimeters, so you're going to have to add that in.
Oh yeah.
Add it into a horizontal. Where do you add it in?
Yeah, that's what I feel like a lot of times, Buster.
There we go. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you've just said that the
And all of
water
them?
level changes in
Hang on,
elevation
let me think about
from the point
The
you're
water
at.
level does. Yes, the water level will. Absolutely.
No reason, no logic, no wisdom, no worries.
Yes, the water level will. Absolutely.
You're just on your own.
There we go. Oh
No
yeah.
reason, no logic, no answers to question.
Hang on here, let me think about this.
You're just on your own.
Just so that, you don't lose me here. Let's say we have A, NA, and NP on your water level. Where are you going to put your auto level?
Oh yeah.
What? I'm not putting the auto level anywhere. Now those
From what?
horizontals-
Okay, wait, back up. Back up.
Whoa.
Back up. No, wait, back up. Back up. No, wait, please.
Hey.
But on the curved Earth, what you just described is what we would see. We would have three different horizontals intersecting in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
And we are live. Welcome, everyone. It's Friday, Free for All Friday. Come on in, Discord. You've got anything you want to say? This is the chance to do it. I think we're probably mostly going to be talking about what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Bedford levels. We're getting ready for it. I'm getting an early night tonight so I can get up early and get down there. So welcome, everyone. I don't know. I've not really got anything planned. I've been busy. Getting everything ready. Getting the cameras ready. Getting the auto level set up. Checked out. New tripod. Getting the batteries charged. Make sure we've got everything ready for going down there. Is anybody else? I don't know if anybody else wants to come. If anybody's... seems like everybody started disappearing the moment we said we were going to go to Bedford. No, nobody's really that interested in it. It's interesting, but not in, not surprising. Good day, people. Good day, Rob. I'm going to say, I think this weekend at Bedford, we'll probably have the most tech cameras, the best chance of anybody getting any decent shots, apart from weather conditions that we can't really help. But we've got definitely got the best chance of getting some of the best shots to date from Bedford. Definitely better than Wallace. He did drawings, and Robotham. I don't think he did anything. Side pictures. But they've gone for the hump every time. Every time they go for the hump. But Rumpus was looking for the nutsack drop. Full lot.
Maybe he wanted to be original.
Rumpus, I think Rumpus did. He wanted to go for the... but not Wallace. I don't know why these earlier people didn't think about what rump. Maybe because they didn't have the optics, to do that full distance. Not that an auto level can do that. We'll show you that tomorrow.
Robotham, as I remember, had theodolite. So
No. Robotham stood in the canal, and he used a telescope 8 inches above the water while he watched the guy in the boat go away.
So he was pointing at horizon. So he didn't establish horizontal, I think. That's why.
No, he was just watching a boat, and he kept going. Everyone at the side. It's like, can you see it? And he's going, oh, yes. It's like, can you still see it? Oh, yes. Are you sure? Yep. Come in and have a look. No, you're all right. You stay in there. You keep watching. He never did it, right? You can't do it. It's impossible. But for some reason, they like to say that he did say it. I don't think he did. I think it's just all fiction. Like, when people say that you've done something that you haven't actually done. I think that's what they did with Robotham. The way I think I've been learning about history and all that. What's needed is somebody to claim something first. And then people will destroy it once you make the initial claim. So that's why it always needs somebody to make a claim first. for other people to then try and destroy it. That's why nobody else ever makes any claims about anything, because they know that the tactic is to destroy any claims that anybody ever makes. That's why when I made the claim that level is a straight line on a horizontal plane, they had to destroy it. I don't know how. I don't think they've ever actually done that yet. But I think they imagine they have by the sheer consensus of amount of people that said it isn't. But it's still just the same people saying the same thing.
That kind of consensus is worthless. So
that's the new scientific consensus. I think we had a clip earlier about Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm not bothered about the individual scientist. It's about the consensus. New science. So if they can imagine, it is wrote into Imaginometry, but they can imagine that their opinion is the consensus, then the scientific consensus can override what you think, because you're an outlier to the perceived scientific consensus. It is modern times, and that's what we're here for. I don't want to put anybody's thinking down on Friday, but if anybody wants to come in and challenge me on that. Who decides scientific consensus in modern day?
I would say media.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Timothy. I haven't got Facebook. I just don't do Facebook. And I don't know what issues you're talking about. I'm fine, Timothy. Thanks for thanks for joining and commenting, but I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. Not on Facebook. And I don't know what issues people have. He seems very keen about it, though. Some of last night and the last few days and issues and everything with everyone regarding everything. I mean, it's got a bit of a broad scope to it. Does anyone have Facebook? Or does it... Nobody wants to admit.
Not me.
At last night's stream, we were talking about going to Bedford and going over what Rumpus and Farmer's Boy would do with machetes and stuff. Are you and others able to keep up regarding everything and everyone? I don't know. Yeah, Gizmo doesn't even know what Facebook is. It's like a face palm, but you put a book in your face, I think. Oven mitts. It's like extreme oven mitt shit with Blue Marble and the oven mitt and the donkeys. Something related to that. I don't think you'll ever find out, Gadget, to be honest. So the big news is tomorrow day we will be out, and nighttime. I think the nighttime should be the best bit, really, the laser waving. That'll be the best for Discord. And if we can get a few cameras on, we should have like a laser thing. We would be like Pink Floyd playing. We get Buster playing the guitar for us laser waving.
That'd be pretty epic.
Timothy, I can't go and review anything on Facebook because I haven't got it. So I don't know what you're talking about. I think he's just trying to get some more hits on his Facebook page. Can anybody go over to Timothy's Facebook page and let us know what the fuck he's talking about? Hurry, he's saying. Hurry, go over there. It's the same thing with almost everyone. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Why do you have to send us to your... I'm talking about y'all and everyone. Yeah, Timothy, but we don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Sorry. Nobody's on Facebook. First post from 6 days ago. Regarding everything and everyone. Wow. Timothy's keeping it a Facebook exclusive. Just hinting in the YouTube chat. Yeah, I don't know, Timothy. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think the best way really is to come on into the Discord community, on the level Discord community, and have a chat, because you know, if we don't talk to people, then it's hard to tell what people are saying in text. I mean, some people could just be text bots nowadays, because then they are getting pretty clever with the way they do bots and stuff. And when bots just say a load of random stuff, I mean, how do you know whether the people or the bots? I don't know. It's the best idea, that. Yeah, Tim, thank you very much. That'll help. So has anybody got any topics about anything? I haven't. I've literally got nothing. So we did have a conversation. Someone, I'm trying to sort something out. Maybe. I know we keep calling these things debates, but I mean, it keeps them happy. There's meant to be some sort of a debate possible with Fight the Flat Earth and me. But we're going to have to work out what the topic of the debate is, because I'm not doing a shape of the earth debate with Fight the Flat Earth. Sorry, just not doing it. But we'll see. We're in negotiations. I think I've got the history of having some of the most ridiculous debates to date. Like the Flat Earth was the guy that started it off. Yeah. Thank you very much, Timothy. Timothy's just updated his Facebook account, if anybody wants to know. Right. So The history of Bedford. I've got a thing, and I'm not too sure if anybody wants to say anything. Nobody's talking about anything. I do have a history of Bedford and the Hampton and Wallace thing. It's a bit long-winded and drawn out. It gets a bit obfuscated. But, I mean, isn't that... Oh. Isn't that what's going to happen anyway? Do you want to say, Al? Let me have a look. See if I can find it for you. It's all wrote like a book. We trust Newton and newspaper articles. Everybody's making it difficult for us. Right, this is... You guys can get that in Discord. This is an article. I don't know where I found this. Ebook, yep. Plain Truth. So this is chapter 3. I think it's from a book or something. It says the Bedford Canal swindle detected and exposed. Now, all we're doing is going there to take some pictures. That's it. And, I mean, it is a historic place, and this is one of those things. Hampton and Wallace. Said would have made a good name for a vaudeville act touring Victorian music halls. In fact, the Hampton and Wallace act entertained England for 2 decades, but their farce was played out in the public press and courtrooms rather than on music hall stages. Wallace's ill-fated attempt to spike flat earthism only brought it increased attention and gave it a unity that it had never had before. The Bedford Canal swindle became the zetetic theme song and rallying cry. Believers saw in Hampton a David who boldly attacked Goliath, only to be diddled out of his victory. Secret flat earthers came tumbling out of the woodwork. This is Bedford. This is where we're going to take some pictures. John Henry Walsh's decision in favour of Wallace left John Hampton shaken. For once in his life, he experienced self-doubt. He sent Parallax 10 quid and asked him to return to the old Bedford Canal and repeat his experiments. Parallax obliged. I don't know who Parallax is. He and several others spent 3 days on the site making further observations. Rowbotham and his team returned to London on the evening of April 18th. April 18th? Close, isn't it? 8th. And they reported that the canal still as flat as when Rowbotham lived there in 1838. It says got a note there, 3-1. This one here. It says, this is an article, I think it says, perhaps there is not upon a record a more palpable illustration of the notorious rascality of the scientific world than has been recently exhibited in the trial between Mr. Hampton of Swindon and Mr. Wallace, Fellow of the Royal Geographical Society of London, aided and abetted by local sawbones of Downham Market, who acted as Mr. Wallace's referee and the editor of the Field newspaper, who was his chosen umpire. Even this did not satisfy Hampton, and he subsequent spent another 10 quid to have a have printer Alfred Bull conduct further and equally satisfactory experiments. And we're just going down there taking some pictures. First, however, Bull had another task to perform. Within days of Rowbotham's return, Bull printed and published a pamphlet entitled "Is Water Level or Convex After All?" The Bedford Canal Swindle Detected and Exposed. The title page names no author, but the style and tone are unmistakably Hampton's. Hampton was as hard-nosed and mean-spirited a controversialist as ever hurled an epithet in lieu of an argument. Wow. His opening words show he was in no mood to take prisoners. On the same page, Hampton states his motives for making the challenge. Mr. Hampton took up the subject simply and solely relying on the fact that the Bible or scriptural evidence, as far as it went, uniformly ignored if it did not directly oppose the notion of a globular earth. Not a single verse throughout the whole scriptures hint at any expression conformity of the Newtonian theory. Mr. H knew this would be impossible if a revolving globe were really a fact. See, now, all of this stuff and this that goes on in the history books and the newspapers, what's it about? Like I say, we're going there to take pictures. We've probably got far better equipment than these guys could ever have. So they were sending people down there to pay people to look at stuff. They were sending like Ranty down there to look at things for him. And they were coming to conclusions. Depends where you put your model. What exactly it is. You just go there to take pictures. We are. And we've got better cameras than these guys ever had. So if that's what they're doing, I mean, it doesn't really say anything. It just says looking for pictures. Oh, it says Hampton briefly described the experiment, dusting off Martin W.B. Colchester as a local apothecary, who, if all reports were true, was not over scrupulous in making assertions according to circumstances. After censoring Culture for refusing to argue with Carpenter, Hampton trained his guns on his primary targets. No experiment or anything. If there is one class of men, next to horse dealers and jockeys, who bear the unenviable reputation of being the most tricky and unscrupulous in their assertions, it is the members of our scientific societies. The remark about those horse dealers and jockeys was obviously aimed at sporting editor Walsh. In case that shot missed, Hampton fired another volley. Take these editorial functionaries away from their scissors and paste pot, and they are found to be as great blockheads as other men, mere slaves to the popular taste, most of them as venial as any hireling in existence. There is no doubt some moral or pecuniary pressure was brought to bear on the late decision, and like all cowards, Mr. Walsh was afraid to uphold the truth and the palpable evidence of the reports. It's bullshit. It's just people arguing, calling other people names. So far, anybody heard anything yet?
Like today.
Yeah, it's just no different, is it?
No difference, yeah.
These are just these two people arguing about something. Nobody else really gives a shit. It's like an act. Nobody cares. Should go to take some pictures. It says, having now libelled everyone in sight, Hampton briefly addressed the form of the earth. He insisted that Wallace's experiment had failed to demonstrate any curvature, and the diagrams of the referees provided it he found Wallace's explanations contradictory. Walsh, afflicted with ignorance and stupidity and the conventional view of the universe, utterly unsupported by evidence. Those who assert the Earth to be a globe must be utterly regardless of the truth of their system and merely uphold it simply because it contradicts the Bible, which is all these infidels seem to care about. They have never made a single experiment, the truth of which can be incontestably proved, and they stick to their insane theory because it is ingenuous and makes thoughtless blockheads stare with amazement. One single proof would be worth 1,000 mere assertions. These are all newspaper articles that came out at the same time as these guys are having whatever tiff, public tiff, right? Arguing about nothing. I mean, what are they arguing about? 'Tis globe. 'Tis not globe. As we will see, Walsh and Hampton took turns applying the rod to each other. In closing, Hampton noted that Wallace had agreed in principle to another experiment. If the new experiment demonstrated the convexity of a body of water, Hampton would pay all expenses and admit to libel and slander. If it failed, he would claim the £1,000, wow, and demand a full apology. If his challenge was ignored, he would sue everyone in sight. Big things at stake now. £1,000. Is water level or convex after all? It was difficult to ignore.
It's for the chips.
Okay, thank you. Hampton had initiated the Bedford Canal fiasco with an advertisement in Scientific Opinion, so perhaps its editors felt a proprietary interest in or professional responsibility for the matter. In any case, the magazine reacted to the pamphlet with a full-page editorial on the April the 27th, 1970 issue. It says in part, this brochure, written anonymously, is a species of abusive germade of the very lowest and most offensive type, and we can only say of it that, if it is not beneath the contempt of Mr. Wallace, it is a publication which that gentleman would do well to put into his lawyer's hands, for it is the most libelous and disgraceful tirade we have ever been pained by reading. Gets a bit hard work to follow who's doing what to who with all of the libel and slander and all of that that's going on. Further, we can well comprehend how painful it must be to Mr. Hampton to have to pay £500 for indulging in the nonsense he has enjoyed so long. But that by no means justifies the course either he or his friends have taken in publishing this pamphlet, and we must trust that Mr. Wallace, who has had the courage to put up the cap and bells on Mr. Hampton's head, will equally apply the legal flagellum to the individual who has the audacity and bad taste to write the pamphlet and the cowardice to publish it anonymously. That's just basically a thing that's been sent out by anyone, isn't it? Like, it's an anonymous, so how it could be anybody that did it. I don't know which one of these guys it is, or
it's just drama.
Yeah.
Like now in the internet, but then it was just written things, but the same. I smell the same thing. Normal drama.
Despite this advice, Wallace tried to ignore Hampton's libels. Hampton considered silence an admission of guilt, and he produced a blizzard of letters to the editor denouncing Wallace. He also bombarded Wallace's friends and colleagues with sulphurous letters and postcards. At length, Wallace grew tired of being publicly branded a knave, liar, thief, swindler, imposter, rogue, and felon. In January of 1871, he sued Hampden for libel. Flat Earther B. Charles Burrough described the results as follows. Flat Earther B. It's hard to understand this. Who's talking what? I don't know. It's a book. The City Remembrancer. Before whom the trial was heard, considering the affair a most curious thing, directed the jury to return a verdict for the plaintiff and to assess the damages which he would likely to be to repair Mr. Wallace's integrity. According to the counterbalance, the effect with the charges of swindling were calculated to produce a verdict for 600 quid was duly returned. It's quite hard. It would have been a lot of money back then, I would imagine. 1870. Characteristically, Burrough neglected to mention why Wallace won a directed verdict. Hampden never contested the libel suit, for he had another strategy. While Wallace was in court, Hampden signed all his assets over to his solicitor's son-in-law and declared bankruptcy. Wallace's judgment for 600 quid was uncollectible, but he ended up with a whopping bill for legal costs. Soon afterwards, Walsh, who also bespattered with the fallout of Hampden's rage, brought a criminal action for libel at London's Old Bailey. The evidence was overwhelming, so Hampden pleaded guilty and apologised. He was ordered to keep the peace for a year, equivalent to being put on probation. I don't know what all of this is about, to be honest. It's just drama on drama on drama, isn't it?
Yeah, like now. So
soon afterwards, Walsh was also bespattered with... Oh, no, wait. Hampden's peace ended long before his probation expired. On June the 28th, 1871, Annie Wallace received the following letter. Madam, if your infernal thief of a husband is brought home some day on a hurdle with every bone in his head smashed to a pulp, you will know the reason. Do you tell him from me he is a lying infernal thief, and as sure as his name is Wallace, he never dies in his bed. You must be a miserable wretch to be obliged to live with a convicted felon. Do not think or let him think I have done with him. John Hampden. 12 days later, Hampden was brought up before the Stratford Bench of Magistrates on a charge of writing a threatening letter. Annie Wallace testified that she had previously received a similar letter, which she could not produce. Alfred Wallace testified that the handwriting and signature appeared to be those of John Hampden. The same was true as another letter introduced as evidence. This one addressed to the Committee of the Etymological Society, of which Wallace was president. It read as follows. Gentlemen, can you get some low pettifogging attorney to try and defend your president from being a thief and a swindler, a rogue and an imposter? Of course, no respectable men would have the name of such an infernal rogue on their books. If I were to meet him in the middle of Regent Street or the Strand, tell him that from me, that I would spit in his face and kick him to the gutter. John Hampden. This is I'm guessing this is the Flat Earth Society at work. Way back then, 1870, was it? It's a weird time. But hey, the bench said that it seemed to be the case of crazy men writing crazy letters. Regarding his letter to Mr. Wallace, Hampton told the court that some young friends of his were very much disturbed about the way Wallace had treated him. Fearing violence, he had tried to warn Wallace. The sceptical judge ordered Hampton to put up £100 as a surety that he would keep the peace for 3 months and to find 2 other sureties at £50 apiece. Hampton spent a week in jail before 2 additional sureties came forward. Criminal libel became a habit with Hampton. In the next 4 years, he would have been convicted 3 times. Wallace apparently got a little sympathy from his scientific colleagues. Darwin, at least, expressed his condolences regarding the threatening letters, writing, "I was aggrieved to see in the Daily News that the madman about the flat earth had been threatening your life. What an odious trouble this must have been to you." Most thought he should never have gotten involved, and there was presumably whispers about a former land surveyor trying to act the gentleman. William Carpenter remained silent for more than a year after his controversy with Culture and Walsh in the Field. Not until the summer of 1871 did he publish his first pamphlet on the Bedford Canal experiment, water not convex, the earth not a globe. The first really detailed description of the Bedford Canal experiment and its aftermath is generally reliable despite Carpenter's obvious bias. It is particularly interesting because of Carpenter's expertise in Pitman's shorthand, and some of the dialogue he preserved is quoted in the previous chapter. Unfortunately, Carpenter was a tedious writer with a penchant for petty quibbling and a genius for misunderstanding simple English. In a letter to Hampton, Wallace noted that if one sighted along a line of poles between Old Bedford Bridge and Welney Bridge, the tops appeared to be rising higher to the middle point, then sinking lower and lower to the furthest one. Carpenter commented as follows: "The surface of the earth is seen rising and falling. How strange. Why have we not just been provided with the exact amount of curvature in one continuously progressive scale without any ups and downs, from 8 inches in the first mile to 130 feet in the 14th mile? Is Mr. Wallace right and all the other scientific men wrong? Does the surface of the earth curvate continuously upwards or continuously downwards, or first upwards then downwards? Is there a gradual incline, a gradual decline, or is there first one then the other? These are questions every thoughtful man will ask." Yeah, he's right. He's dead right. Nonsense. A thoughtful man would easily understand what Wallace meant. Carpenter carped continuously in everything he wrote, and after a few pages of his stuff, Hampton's rages sound almost reasonable. Unlike Hampton, Carpenter knew how to walk the thin line between fair comment and libel. His innuendos contain the same accusations Hampton made, but he was never sued. His penchant for detail made some of his tiresome works informative, but Hampton's tirades are more interesting reading. More drama. Meanwhile, the Flat Earth movement thrived on the controversy. For the first time in its history, the movement got national publicity. True, the publicity was all bad, but the Zedetics finally gained recognition. Rowbotham, Carpenter, and Hampton no longer stood alone in the public eye. The Bedford Canal experiment brought in new blood and spawned the first genuine outpouring of zetetic literature. One writer brought into the flat earth controversy by the Bedford Canal controversy was Empson Edward Middleton. That's another guy brought in. It's just drama. Absolute drama.
Okay, for entertainment. So,
like, what's going on? Stories about people and which we can carry on in that. There's one here. It says, "Sir, kindly permit me in all my humility to arouse, wake up, alarm, terrify, freeze globite with a burning sensation that I wonder. Would globite be sensitively pricking up to the distant rumbling, mighty roaring, all earth clashing, sea non-convexing, air spitting, gentle ear tickler? Then let globite be aware that I quiver, shake, nay rattle with amazement to know, would he, globite, allow, recognize, and determinedly swear that there is such a thing as a perpendicular? Swear, globite, swear, affirm ye. It is affirmed, globite has graciously condescended that he acknowledges in an ordinance of nature called, according to position, vertical, upright, perpendicular, or otherwise." Middleton argued that if there is on Earth such a thing as a perpendicular, there must also be a thing as horizontal. If horizontal, then flat, QED. Unfortunately, Middleton's arguments were rarely clear to anyone but himself. And when prose failed, he switched to verse. For example, in his third letter, he wrote, "The earth's a plane, hurrah for parallax then, hurrah, hurrah, hurrah for Carpenter and Hampton. Another cheer for publishers and printers too, who boldly set forth the truth, and shun the false and mouldy." He's not quite got what Buster's got in his lyrics, but it's hard to argue with this kind of logic. One suspects that most globites kept out of Middleton's way as much as possible, though not for the reasons he imagined. He followed the trigonometra letters with more of the same in his controversy of the shape of the earth between Newtonian astronomer and a poet, 1872. Wow. With secret flat earthers coming out of the closet and new converts coming to the fold, the time was ripe for the zetetic periodical. Hampton tried to start one in 1871, but never got it off the ground. More successful was Charles Bieber, who brought forth the first issue of the Zetetic, a monthly journal of cosmographical science, July the 1st. Just seem like mad people to me. Don't know what they're going on about. They're all battling.
I think they just wanted to produce some interest, public interest. So this drama is just for entertainment or advertisement, let's say.
Yeah, he said like this ran over 20 years. 2 decades of this, backwards and forwards. So Robotham argued that if the surface of water were horizontal, then Newtonian astronomy is dead. Like, they don't follow. I don't know. Somebody give us something else to do. This is it's depressing because they don't actually talk about anything, and there's no experiments or anything in this. It's just this guy called this guy a bad guy, and this guy called this guy this. Look how much of this text there is here. Wallace libel. Public apologies. Public apology. I, John Hampton, of 33 Warwick Street, New Cross, do hereby make a full and complete apology to Mr. Alfred R. Wallace for having falsely accused him of unfair or dishonourable conduct, and I acknowledge that all the accusations I have made against him since April 1870 are wholly without foundation, and I hereby retract and withdraw everything I have said, written or published, reflecting on his character as a man of honour and integrity. Hampton didn't mean a word of it. That's like a public apology, but now they're saying, you know, straight away he didn't mean a word of it. Who didn't mean a word of what? Terrible. Let me go back to Discord. I've had enough of that. It's bullshit. If anybody wants to go over the history of whatever bullshit happened with no argument, then they can. I've had enough of that. Somebody come and give us something else to talk about, please.
How's it going?
Yeah. Right, so we're going to go and take some pictures at Bedford tomorrow, right? I don't expect anybody to slander anybody about anything, or nobody's going to be making any claims about what these pictures are. Well, we're not going to be. But if, you know, if you want to come and see what we can actually see through any of this stuff, come into Discord and you can see it for yourself.
Come have a look.
It should be the first time ever live footage has been taken and put to Discord, apart from the last time when we went there. But this time that was just testing. This time we know what we're doing. We know how to be able to do this and present it into Discord. No other Discord channels are doing this. We're taking you on a trip to Bedford without any of the bullshit arguments that are going on. There is no arguments. It's just a picture. And all of those guys, remember, all of those guys are having those arguments about that. Well, they didn't have P1000s. They can't record the images. They can't show it to people and say, here, look, have a look at this. At least this way, when we go there, you guys can get a picture of what the scenery is around the place. As we're looking through the auto level, you'll be able to see what it looks like at the other end in the thing. Hopefully, you'll be able to see us on one bridge and the guys on the other bridge. From each bridge, we should be able to see reciprocal, let's say. Reciprocal camera shots from bridge to bridge at Bedford levels. Fingers crossed.
That should be good. Looking forward to it.
Timothy's trying to get some people to understand.
Understand what?
I don't know. Nobody can understand. No, at least nobody in here can seem to understand. I think you might need to go to his Facebook. That's where he's posting everything. Just to his friends, though, so you might not be able to see it.
Okay.
Still have no word about the the modern debate that I think we're going to be having with Fight the Flat Earth. Do you think it's wise? What's everybody think? You think I should? Think it's worthwhile? Do you think we could get anything from it?
What would be the topic of that, let's say, debate?
I don't know yet. I don't know what topic debate would be. It definitely wouldn't be the shape of the Earth debate, right? Because I'm not getting involved in that. I'd like to see how he did it with the a rehashing of the. I think what we did level and the straight line. Originally, that was my first debate that I had with Fight the Flat Earth. Yes, Gadget, but I won't be wearing it all the time because it's uncomfy as fuck. I think my head might be a bit too big. I should have got a better sized one. A bit too big for the hat. A bit too big for the hat. Yes, I will. I've got a top hat. I've not got a suit. I'm not wearing any suit. I think Spot On said he's got a velvet. Yeah, I thought this was going to be tough tonight. Seriously, nobody got any topics or anything to talk about? Whew. We did have some new people incoming earlier. Interesting debates. That's in the Discord.
I could talk about lots of stuff, Bev, but nobody wants to hear it.
I know. But they're all leaving anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Only the people that are left that want to hear it. No, nobody wants to come and do the like some of the biggest controversy that's ever been within this arena, and some of the biggest drama around Bedford, but nobody really knows what it is. You can't really make the mind up what's meant to be happening over the canal.
Has anyone seen Rumpus?
No.
No?
No.
What about Farmer's Boy?
I don't think so. I don't even think he's commented on Twitter for a bit, Farmer's Boy. I think, I don't know. Nobody likes seeing that because you think about it, the Globe gang have to look up to Rumpus and Farmer's Boy. They seem to be the authority, don't they?
I did see where Farmer's Boy over in Blue said that he did look through an auto level at Bedford.
Yeah, they haven't.
Except they didn't.
Well, yeah, the only one that did was that Adam, and he came over and looked at our auto level. So that's as much as they know.
Oh, got it.
Is that right, Kat? Tim's got a playlist named "'Tis Issues Regarding Many" at the YouTube channel of Try Thinking.
Oh, what the
So
what?
I don't
No?
suppose you can stop other people from making. Yeah, but I don't know. It's very confusing what Timothy's going. Yeah, but apparently he's got a playlist on his channel. I don't know what sort of.
Let me
things are
have
on.
a look. Let me have a look.
Have a look which videos he's put on that.
Oh, 'tis issues regarding many at the YouTube channel. Yeah. Okay.
How many videos has it got on the playlist?
Hang on, I don't want to bring it up. Actually, my sound won't come through, I don't think.
No.
Oh, no, it's all of your like philosophy stuff.
What issues? Philosophy stuff was quite good. I hope nobody thinks there's any issues with the philosophy.
It's a curious title, for sure. I'm not sure I understand the title, but anyone's welcome to share the videos. So,
well, all of the philosophy ones will be members only, so you'd only be able to watch those ones if you're a member. It seems a little bit silly. But I hope you're a member there, Timothy. But I don't think any of your people. Maybe one for yourself. Maybe it's a playlist for yourself. Okay. So yeah, I mean, whoever that is, I'll have a conversation about educating your children. Fight the Flat Earth, that might be a good one to add to the topics. What you publicly call people. What happened to Rumpus, all of Rumpus's cameras and production staff. I think it was a team of 13 or 14 that he needed to go and do it. People lifting up things and having the radius measurements on a live thing. Yeah, I mean, nobody knows. What we were waiting for was Rumpus to have I think it was with Asken and SE and Mobius. He was going to go over and let everybody know exactly what his test was. I don't know whether... I don't think he can do that. I don't know who would listen to him. After the 5 laws of globe that he did with Blue Marble Science, he seemed to have gone... I mean, he might have elevated himself up to such a higher rank that he doesn't need to converse with anybody now. He might not even need to do this test. The 5 laws of globe by Rumpus and Blue Marble Science might just have been the ticket that he needed. But I mean, who is Rumpus? Where is Rumpus? Where is Jesse Kozlowski? Sadly, no one knows. No one knows. I mean, what would he say anyway? What's it? It's all you would get is the same as that Hampton and Wallace. Just backwards and forwards bickering with no outcome. Just drama. For centuries. This has been going on for 150 years.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Similar to, argument as well. With nobody really caring. Just a random group of people going backwards and forwards, bickering with each other, coming to no solutions about anything. Just people bickering about the shape of the earth when nobody gives a shit. I think, Emma, I don't know whether I'm gonna, like you did your mind your P's and Q's. I'm gonna, I might title the new modern day epoche as Emma says. Who gives a shit?
To be fair, there are lots of Emmas out there, and I think most people know an Emma. So,
I bet they do say, who gives a shit? Because it's dead easy to come to, isn't it? In this whole thing that, you people come into this arena and they get into it, and it's like, is it a globe? Is it a flat? Is it a star shape? Is it a banana? Is it a dinosaur? And quite often most people end up with the who gives a shit? What does it matter? Because it doesn't. Nothing matters about what shape you consider the earth to be. Oh, thank you very much, Unicorn Laser Eyes. Petrol money for our day out. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's going to be a great day tomorrow. And I hope people do actually come into the Discord to see what we're doing. Because this is going to be as interactive as you could ever get. You get to see what goes on through the auto level. You can get us to point it in a different position. You can we'll get the cameras out so you can see, what the natural landscape is. We'll get people at the other end of the bridge so you can see what the landscape is over there. We can't really guarantee that we'll be able to see each other from each bridge. Hopefully we should be able to, but we can't guarantee that. But what we can guarantee is that later on of the night time, once it starts getting dusky a bit, we can get the lasers on. So you'll definitely be able to see where the lasers are coming from and where we would have been, hopefully, if we could have seen us. But hopefully you can get to see us at the bridges within the cameras at the same time as us laser waving. Dusk sort of time where it's not dark, twilight. It's good, isn't it? Twilight. Twice light. You think Rumpus and Jesse got bored? I would have thought it'd have been their thing. But hey, they have done Jesse Kozlowski's and fucked off. So, I mean, why would they bother coming back again? Who would want to take this on? Because I don't think you can. I think it's a mind problem. Unsolvable. problem where epoche is needed at the end. The outcome requires epoche or madness, one or the other. In case you didn't know what epoche is, let me get that. Here we go. Nice one. When controversy arises, an attitude of non-involvement should be adopted in order to gain peace of mind for daily living. Or, as Emma would put it, who gives a shit? I don't know whether that's actually how Emma would say. Probably pretty close. We might be able to clean it up a bit. But this is street philosophy that we're into now. For normal people. People that have never really thought about philosophy or a way to think about things or even how they think about things.
I think it's worth going over those ideas again. Epoche, ataraxia. It's probably worth talking about those again.
Yeah.
At some point.
I think short videos will be I don't know. I think this is street philosophy is going to be helping a lot of people, I think. Because people not thinking has led them to acquire a multitude of contradictions that they're carrying around with them. And those contradictions cause modern life to become maybe unbearable for some people. Releasing a few dogmatic ideas or dogmatic beliefs is probably one of the better things that you could do. You know, just it frees you up a bit. It just helps you gain peace of mind.
How to stay sane in an insane world. Epoche.
Extreme epoche. I think somebody said to me today. Or what about epoche abuse?
The idea that you can abuse a method to get to peace of mind.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that.
Great, isn't it? Yeah. That
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
on a t-shirt, that epoche abuse. Abuse it. Yes. That was Miss You. Thank you very much, Miss You. The idea we can just have little conversations and I write little things down on my board. Epoche abuse, I think, might be a good t-shirt slogan. So, yeah, we have just recently made the Discord into a community channel. So if you're looking for some sort of epoche, you're trying to find a place where you can find peace and no stress about, nobody's going to be hassling you about what shape you think the earth is, because it's a bullshit argument. Who gives a shit? Nobody in here gives a shit. So, yeah, come in. You might get some proper conversations about stuff. We're developing an idea to purposely avoid model talk. Because I find that whenever you're talking to anybody and a model gets injected in, whoever injects the model, it doesn't matter whether the interlocutor or you personally interject the model, you can watch you lose control of the conversation. it can be going in a certain direction, inject a model in, and you're off on a tangent where you didn't want to go to. And it seems like there's no way of getting back to that original conversation once you've injected the model in. So what we do is we aim to avoid models within conversation, because models kill conversations. That's a good one as well, isn't it? Models kill conversations.
Yes, indeed. Doesn't matter what the conversation is or what the model is. It'll kill it.
Yeah. I'm going to have to write that down, actually.
I would as well. Yeah.
There you go. Model kill conversation. So, no model talk. At least we don't want to talk about models, but as we expect, it's so ingrained in people's minds that they can't stop talking about it. And please, if you do come in, don't take offense at us not going with your model talk. Like we say, it's much easier, or I find it's better to have you get a much better conversation the further away you can keep from the model. No,
or just provide some proofs.
Yeah, but that's not a model then, is it? If you providing proofs, then you're not dealing with models.
Yes, I would say argument for model. So then we can discuss argument.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there is no argument so far.
Yeah, would be good to have some decent debates about things. And there are topics that are up for debate. But the problem about the debate structure is that you're meant to catch your opponent within a fallacy or a contradiction or an inconsistency. Yet the structure of modern science doesn't seem to allow for that within it. So I'm not too sure that there is a possibility for us to have an actual debate within the structure of this modern science, or even modern day debate.
I would say that modern day debates are inducing some fallacies inside debate. I have example. I watched part of, let's say, a debate between Flatzoid and some alleged pilot.
Oh, not FE pilot.
No, I think, I'm not sure. That was a name. I would say that was not FE pilot, but some other guy who called himself pilot or was pilot or whatever. But in this so-called debate, they agreed that gyroscope is establishing horizontal. And this is what gyroscope does. So they are inducing something which is not true, because gyroscope is just establishing any position and fixing that position. It can be any position, skew position, whatever. But in this debate, they agreed that it establishes horizontal, which is not true.
Yeah, wouldn't that make riding a bike a bit difficult?
Yes, it's
The gyroscopic motion of a bike wheel keeps you upright.
Yeah,
doesn't make
but
you go horizontal. That'd make it really difficult if they went horizontal.
yeah, so in bike you have rather vertical position, so
Yeah.
not horizontal. But this is how these debates are going now. I can spot some things that they induce to audience, I think. And if they are passing unnoticed, people will take it as obvious thing, maybe after some time. And then they will learn something that is untrue. And they will say that this is self-evident after some time, that gyroscope establishes horizontal. It may establish horizontal if you fix gyroscope in that position. But this is not what gyroscope is doing. This is not the principle of gyroscope to establish horizontal. The principle of, let's say, gyroscope is to maintain fixed position. This is what gyroscope is doing. Not necessarily horizontal, any position. But this is how it goes in modern day debate. So both sides are agreeing on something that is untrue. And earlier, with in debate, let's say, between flatzoid and fight the flat Earth, they both agreed that science does not prove anything, and mathematics is not a science. So they induced another, I would say, lie.
Without adding modern. Because yeah, they should really add modern in the front of all of those sort of things.
Yeah, because this is not debate really, but they are inducing some fallacies, some errors. They are changing language.
Well, once they get enough people to agree with them, once it's been said enough and more people agree, then it will become the consensus, and that's how modern science works. That's how they usher these things in to the consensus.
Yes, they both agree. So let's say both sides agreed. So flat earthers and globe earthers agreed that mathematics is not a science, and both sides agreed that science does not prove anything. So that would be consensus between two sides. This is sad for me.
Yeah, I don't know how many people have been actually joining us into the philosophy, and they listen to any of the live stream, the earlier ones that I put out. But the part of philosophy that we're going through at the minute, it's around the 1600s, and they're literally talking about this change from science, which was the understanding of everything. So everything had a science, of which geometry would have been the science of shape, line and shape, form. Logic would have been the science of reasoning. Mathematics would have been, or arithmetic would have been the science of number and calculation. They would have had science of the human body, the biology, chemistry. All of these different aspects have their own science, and it was just a way of people gaining knowledge about that particular subject. That's old science, because it involved the use of deductive reasoning to lead their experimentations. That sounds right, doesn't it? They use deductive logic to lay up the observation, and then the experiment would come from deductive logic. Then you would go into the actual experiment to prove that what your assumptions through the deductive logic would be proved true.
Yes, absolutely right. Yes. So first is deductive, and you are making assumption, deductive assumption, and then you are checking if your assumption through deductive logic is true, and then you are performing experiment to validate your hypothesis. So, but your hypothesis, you have this hypothesis through deductive thinking. So first would be deduction, then induction to check your hypothesis.
That's old school stuff, right? So in the 1600s, a guy called Bacon, a politician, decided that was no good. That old stuff, no more. But it's a case of Descartes and all of this sort of crisis of doubt is that they seem to leave the deductive logic in there, but then say that they can't use it. So whenever anybody uses deductive logic to say, why are you doing that? Then they can just say, oh, well, we don't use that anymore. But it's a bit hard to come up with an experiment without applying some sort of deductive logic. It's hard to do mathematics without having the deductive logic. So for them, the new scientists to say disregard the old science as not science, to me is, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense, but that's the world we live in nowadays.
Yeah, for me, it is insane.
What can you do? Just got to sit by and watch. Well, this is the place where you can come and talk about that. If you feel the same, maybe you do, maybe you don't, doesn't matter. But if you wouldn't mind coming and having a conversation about it, pop on in. We're easy to talk to because these things, these methods, is it methods? It is, isn't it? The new science compared to the old science, because they're not the same. You can't just call it science. There is a new science that's led by induction, and there's the old science that was led by deductive logic, but then also employed exactly the same induction within its experiments, practical experiments in reality. The only thing that seems to have changed is the fact that people don't want to recognize a deductive argument that sets up the experiment.
Well, I would say the other thing that's changed drastically and obviously is the fact that these things, deductive reasoning, inductive, those kinds of things, the philosophies, have been left to, quote, academia, unquote, and the shadow giants. That's changed greatly. Because I think they're, at least to me, I think the normal everyday people had a better grasp on logic themselves than I think people do today. Whether they may have realized it or not, they may not have gone to academy or anything, not the academy that Plato set up or whatever. But I think that they had a better sense of better common sense, let's say, than people today. People today defer almost everything to authority, to shadow giants, to someone else, rather than taking on themselves.
Yeah, but I think people still do. I mean, you can't get rid of deductive logic, right? You can never do that.
No,
But
you
you can hide it, can't you?
Yeah, you can diminish it. You can, we've talked about this a million times, and we do need to go over this again, but the lost tools of learning, right?
Yeah.
You can make sure that you don't teach children critical thinking. You can make sure that you do teach children that the only thing that's important to you is to memorize what we tell you to memorize. There's all sorts of things that you can do.
Yeah.
If you're really clever, you can give the populace stuff that might diminish their IQ. If you're really clever.
Well, I mean, if you get used to getting a score and somebody gives you a 10, like, you've done well, right? If you can allow people to believe that getting a 10 means you've done well, and if that little trick behind that just meant that you had to remember something that somebody else told you and recite it out again, then that's what you become to know as a good thing. That's how you are educated, which is a contradiction in terms, right? There's no turning of the head by saying, look at the shadows, repeat the shadows, keep looking at the shadows and tell me what the shadows are going to do. What did the shadows say? There's no turning of any heads at all in that
None.
sort of education, which
No. As long as you're looking at the cave wall and you're saying what the shadows say that they say, you're good. Very well done. Well done. And in some cases you can even get the shadows wrong and it'll still be well done. As long as you're looking at the cave wall.
Yeah, you're allowed to make your own shapes of shadows.
Right. For those of you who don't know what we're alluding to, that's Plato's Cave. You should look it up, read it. The Republic, very good.
I think an animation of Plato's Cave would be good. Shadows on the wall. Somehow. Watching those shadows go by. It's telling you things. Everybody does it, I guess. I think we were having a discussion the other night, maybe last night, about how easy it is for you to be led into your daily life, and at what point do you consider things for yourself, like these deeper matters of philosophy, the deeper thinking sort of things, the metaphysics. Are there people nowadays that think that that's just beyond them, right? Could you go from birth to grave and consider that philosophy isn't for you at all? Like, it's for people who go to college and academics.
Today, yes. Today's world, absolutely. You can go from cradle to grave.
I find that sad.
Very sad.
People not realizing that, that thought, the deeper things, and just being led like cattle, sheep. The analogy there's just the NPCs. Who wants to be an NPC? But how do you get broken out of that? What's the thing that takes you out of being that NPC hive mind into, not thinking for yourself, but realizing that dream world that has been laid out for you from birth, and you've watched films and TV programs, and maybe you're a woman and you're looking for your Prince Charming to come in on a white horse or whatever, or maybe you're a guy and you're looking to be a superhero with, driving fast cars, living in a mansion, doing all of that sort of stuff. Well, that's fantasy stuff that's been put there. How many people can go on for their entire life just doing that? chasing money or whatever, and for what? Not saying it's a bad thing. You know, people do have to live their lives. They have to find a purpose for the next day. But what happens if you get like so far in life and then you realize, what am I doing this for? How did I get here?
A lot of that well, obviously a lot of that happens today in today's world, doesn't it? And I would say that there's something seems to be missing about gaining knowledge and experience in reality and passing those things on to your children and your grandchildren. I don't know how much of that happens today, quite honestly, as opposed to years ago. But in our studies of modern day philosophy, let's say from Bacon's time on, I think it's pretty easy to see kind of what's happened to that ethos, let's say, of of gaining experience and knowledge, real knowledge in reality, not estimating, calculating, imagining what reality is, but actual experience in reality, and then passing it on from one generation to the next. I think it's become a lost art for much of the world. Saddening again.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's free for all Friday. Come on, let's liven it up a bit. I don't suppose you can. We're living in 2023, coming on to 2024. It's hard, right? It's going to be it's going to be bad.
It's not easy. Not a lot of terrific things happening in the world. Speaking of that, did you hear about the? I'll bring up another topic. It's a depressing one, but apparently there was a guy in Belgium that committed suicide because he had been in intense talks with an AI chatbot about climate change. Did you hear about that?
No way.
Yeah. A guy in Belgium with a family, wife and 2 children, ended up, I think they said, in like a 6-week conversation on his phone with an AI chatbot who, in the end, encouraged him to take his own life for
the good of the climate,
for the good of the climate, for the good of the earth. Yeah.
Whoa.
And he did. Took his own life. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the chatbot was called, but if somebody wants to look up the article, but
not ChatGPT, no.
It wasn't.
One
no,
of these
but it was
mobile ones.
It was based off of ChatGPT.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not good. I've never entertained that. Not even for a curiosity. I could rather communicate with people. I don't want to even attempt to communicate with a computer. I know what it's like talking to people. And I know computers have to deal with fuzzy logic. I'd rather be able to talk to people who can employ real logic, real human emotion, thought. Because computers can't do this sort of stuff. That's the one thing that makes humans different than the computers. And I guess from the NPCs is this deductive logic. The new scientists can't use deductive logic. The new debaters can't use deductive logic. The new mathematicians, the new geometrists can't use deductive logic.
No, it's been destroyed for them. There's no such thing.
Yeah. The only people who seem to be able to are us here on the Level Discord server. Community, Discord community. Come on in. We don't mind a bit of deductive logic. Rational thought. Come on in, have a conversation. leave your model at the door. That's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to do me the new gifts again, sort them back out again.
Yeah.
Sort of bust the song. I'll see if we can get some good footage for Buster's epoche. I guess as we go through the philosophy, there's some dark times, right? It's pretty indicative of everybody can see the philosophy that these guys are going through. You can see it in the modern day conversations that we're having. You can see how people must be struggling. You know, thinking it's a good idea to be angry and you know, commit violent acts against other people. There's not much reasoning and sense going on there, unless you know the outcome you want it's inevitable, right? Once you go down that, if that's what you want, then it's total destruction. It's gone. Civilization's gone. And I don't want to personally live in a place like that, but hey, keep to yourself and come into on the level Discord server and you'll be all right. Just don't engage with people out there, because you never know. You never know who your next door neighbor might be. Never borrow a bike from a next door neighbor.
Yeah, be careful about who you borrow a cup of sugar from, as they used to say. Just borrow a cup of sugar.
Come into the Discord. We're happy to chat. I am anyway. It's my new mission now. That's all I'm after. Conversation. And there's not going to be many. We can talk, everybody in this Discord server. And there are other people out there. I had a guy come in today. Good conversation. They are out there, people who want to have a conversation. And as you see, if people end up talking to chat GPT bots and, you know, in text chat, who are you talking to? And what could be the outcome of you talking to somebody that could possibly not have a logical... You get frustrated when you're talking to people. I think people know. You can sense it, the frustration when you're trying to talk and communication's broke down. There is no communication. It's frustrating. But it is depressing. Anyway, we're going to Bedford. Going to Bedford. We were going to meet up with, you know, the few people that we have in the Discord server. We do this every year. And yeah, I class everyone in the Discord server as my friends, but yeah, we're real people. And we can meet up as real people. There are people out there that are actually real, that you can actually go and meet. Not just, you know, we're not just people on the internet. We're real people.
That's right.
Not chatbots. Not... There's no ulterior motives. We're just going out there to go and do exactly what we tell you we're going to do. We're going to go there. You can come in the Discord and you can verify all of this stuff. You can watch it all live. You won't be getting the cut of all of the best bits, and if there's anything wrong, you know, there'll be none of that. You will literally just see what we see. Nobody's going there for any conclusions or anything.
No. I could do some bits being recorded.
Yeah, we could do with people in Discord recording it for us. So
recording the different people's phones as well. So a person for each phone.
I don't know whether you could get it in the Discord and you can like sort of lay the phones out in different areas so you can see them on the live stream.
Just thinking of a video for after, if there's one person like on my camera and then another person watching yours on Discord on full screen, I don't know if it'd be better to record for a video later, if you know what I mean, to tie everything up together.
Yeah, I'm thinking whenever we come back, we are going to have to put all of these videos together. So if the people that are recording in Discord can help us out by recording it and not flicking from one screen to the other and doing all of that sort of stuff. Because, we're going to want to put them together.
Yeah.
I think the best one to do, to be looking at, will be the laser waving. That should be good, that. I think we'll get as many camera... I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 mobile phones with me and Bade. I've got 3. Bade's got 1. And then you and Spot on. And, you know, all into Discord live. It should be good. I don't think any Discord will ever have had as many people waving lasers and active cameras. I know we'll have never had that many active cameras on Discord. I think we had a few when we did the realizing Euclid test. But that's what this is. This is a build-up now to the actual realizing Euclid test. This is getting us together to let everybody know how we can do the optics and how optics is a load of shit. Not wanting to let everybody down, but I mean, it's good. You get to see what you can see, but you can't prove anything with a picture. Can't measure anything with a picture. And although you could measure a picture by putting a ruler on it, it doesn't prove anything. But you can see that you can't see anything with the picture if you come in and see it. Oh, what I was thinking, Bloods, was if we go down there, I was saying to these guys, if we go down there and like you can have a go at doing a 2-peg test with the level, and then we'll put the camera on the level and we'll let everybody in the Discord do a 2-peg test, right? So they can guide you, so you can set it all up and you can get used to doing it for yourself. And then we'll go live and do the Discord 2-peg test, because that's never been done ever.
Yeah, I've never done anything like that, so that'd be cool.
First time, exclusive 2-peg test in Discord on the auto level, on the level Discord. That should be good. That'll be a first and very good for us. So if you want to be part of the first ever 2-peg test live on Discord, a Discord 2-peg test.
Come on, Joe.
Yeah, come on in. Because then if anybody ever says, have you ever done a 2-peg test? You'll literally be able to say, yeah, we did it in Discord. I've got two measuring rods, so I'll tape one of them onto the bridge.
Okay.
And bring the other one up to the other end, and we'll put that on the other bridge, and then hopefully we'll be able to see the measuring rods from each side.
Cool, you reckon?
Hope so. I hope so. We're going to be getting good, right? We've got to get some good focus on it. We've definitely got the high vis vest, so.
I've just packed them, yep. I'm just packing the last bits, charging the last bits, and yeah, all ready to go.
Marcel, I don't know. What do you reckon? It'll be about dinner time-ish, won't it, before Spot On gets down there? I'm hoping to get down there. If we set off at 6, it'll be 10 o'clock-ish by the time we get down there. We can sort the camera out and then maybe up at the bit with you at about dinner time. I'm thinking.
Right.
Hopefully, unless I can get set off a little bit earlier, 4 o'clock. But I'm gonna have to be ending it pretty soon if we're going to be getting up at 4.
Yeah, I'm going to be heading off soon. As soon as I get up, I'd like to get down there before morning brightness, but don't think I'll make it. But
yeah, I think
as early as I can.
Yeah, I want to get down there. I want to be down there for 10 at least, but hopefully a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, about 11 and 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. doing the lasers of the late one, and we'll be doing the 2 peg test and most of the stuff in between dinner and 5. But we will be moving from one bridge to the other and doing the reciprocal shots.
Right.
All day, I think. Yeah.
Sunrise, sunset. Yeah, 6:21 sunrise.
6:21.
Yeah.
You're not going to get there for that, are you?
I'm not, no.
No. That's too early, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And sunset about 7:45, about half hour of twilight, evening light, and then laser waving about 8:30.
Yeah, is that what time? Sundown?
Yeah, about 7:45.
Okay, yeah. Well, that should be okay because you'll be able to see the lasers, I think, in the twilight, and then we might be able to see the bridges as well with the lasers. It might make it easier for us to see each other, with the lasers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then back to here for UFC.
Yeah.
Long day tomorrow.
It's going to be a long day.
Yeah. So please do come and join us in the Discord community on the level. And you'll get to see why we're called on the level. First ever 2 peg test in Discord. It's better than not having ever done the 2 peg test, isn't it? Done the Discord 2 peg test. The next best thing. Okay. Right, I think I'm going to have to end it a bit early. I need to get a bit of stuff ready, and then I can go to get some sleep and get up early. And then I'll be on the road in Discord. So, thank you, and join us tomorrow. Big day.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
True level, bitch. Could be anything else, could it? Bedford levels, live on the level. Come and join us tomorrow. Only in Discord. Won't be able to put it out onto YouTube. Only streaming into Discord. So if you want to come and join us, weekends is the place where we do it all in Discord. Other than that, see you again on YouTube, people, on Model Affliction Monday. We should have some good footage for you put together for that. Okay, everybody, just get in Discord. Just come on in. And we'll see you on Monday.
Yes, this is basic geometry. Your flat Earth geometry. Flat Earth geometry. This is basic geometry.
It is.
I called you a flat earther.
My name's Ramsey.
Insisting that your flat Earth geometry will work.
I'm familiar with the bubble, Morty. I also dabble in precision, and if you think you can even approach it with your sad, naked caveman eyeball in a bubble of air, you're the reason this species is a failure, and it makes me angry.
Did he say a five-sided square, question mark?
You're a universal horizontal waterer.
You're drunk.
I called you a flat earther.
You want to experience true level? Do you? Yes. You want to experience true level?
That auto level is establishing a horizontal. That's just the way it is.
Because I've done the test with an auto level, which gives you a horizontal.
Yeah, it's gonna look super flat.
All right, come on. Wow, it's so.
Three coplanar points.
Oh Christ! Yeah, true level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
If you're into math, there's a certain shape where you could make a five-sided square.
Are you suggesting that horizontal can't curve?
Oh, everything's crooked. Reality is poison. I want to go back. I hate this.
What's his deal?
Morty. Go to school, Summer. I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little.
Randy, come on, that's a globe. And he eventually just gave up and said, yeah, I agree, it's a globe.
Geodesic is a continuous string of infinitely small, straight lines.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
It's pretty flat and level now.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Lamps to the cosmic slaughter! Well? You seem to be in charge of what I get to remember. Why? Good question.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little.
Burn right to the ground in pieces. But from the ashes come.
Wow, it's so. Oh my God! Oh Christ! Yeah, true level, bitch.
If you're into math, there's a certain shape where you could make a five-sided square.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Yeah, true level, bitch. Wow, it's so. Oh my God! Oh Christ! Yeah, true level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
True level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
True level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
When you get to the end of this test and you have a result and you say level is horizontal and everyone says big whoop, that doesn't prove anything about the shape of the earth, will you then say yes it does?
No.
No. Okay, I'm going to bed. All right.
Okay, so
I'm going to bed.
That level is horizontal is good for you then, right?
I agree. Level's horizontal. All right,
Sweet.
good night.
True level, bitch.
Perfect.
Wow.
Nice, mate. I came
Nice.
in just for that. You flipped it, man.
Yeah,